Welcome to Salem Witch Trials Daily. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
This is Sarah Jack. We are following the Salem Witch Trials day by day, and today is March 10th, 1692.
On this specific date in Salem Village, the records go quiet. No new warrants, no new examinations, no new arrests. The three women taken into custody on March 1st, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, are still in jail awaiting further proceedings. The machinery has been set in motion, but whatever happens today that bears on the witch hunt does not end up in the records.
The crisis did not begin on March 1st out of nowhere. It began inside a particular world, with particular rules about who mattered legally, who had standing, and who did not. And March 10th gives us a chance to look at some of that world.
So today we're stepping back from Salem Village specifically and looking at the broader colonial legal landscape. And we're doing that through something that happened on this date in 1656, 36 years before the Salem crisis. In the colony of Virginia, the Grand Assembly passed a law restoring the right of suffrage to all freemen. Today, Virginia's legislature is called the General Assembly, but at that time it was the Grand Assembly.
The act came out of a very specific frustration. The year before, in 1655, the Grand Assembly had passed a law limiting each household to one vote. The stated concern was tumultuous elections, meaning too many people showing up and making noise. Former indentured servants who were still living in their employers' homes lost the right to vote. Young men living with their fathers lost the right to vote. It was a restriction that made practical sense to some legislators at the time, but struck many others as unfair.
And the 1656 Act put it plainly. The language from the record reads, "We conceive it something hard and unagreeable to reason that any persons shall pay equal taxes and yet have no votes in elections." So the vote was restored to freemen broadly.
The three women sitting in a Massachusetts jail on March 10th, 1692, fall entirely outside the category of freemen. Sarah Good is a destitute woman with no property and no standing. Sarah Osborne is a woman in the middle of a land dispute. Tituba is enslaved. None of them is a church member, so none of them have a vote. None of them have political standing. All of them are fully subject to Massachusetts law's consequences.
That gap between who the legal system was built to protect and who it was fully capable of punishing is one of the defining features of the world that produced the Salem crisis.
And the Virginia story makes that visible in a different way than Massachusetts does. Virginia is Anglican, not Puritan. The Church of England was the official state church there, woven into local government and parish structure, institutional and relatively bureaucratic in character. Virginia does not have the same covenant theology or the same intensely communed religious framework that Massachusetts does, but Virginia and Massachusetts share the same fundamental architecture, a colonial legal system in which the franchise, the courts, the definitions of personhood and standing are constructed around a narrow category of men, and everyone else moves through that system without the same protections.
The 1656 Virginia Act also has a longer arc that is worth noting. Those restored voting rights lasted until 1670, when Governor William Berkeley pushed through a new restriction limiting the vote to property owners only. The franchise expanded, contracted, expanded again, contracted. Rights in colonial America were not stable. They were negotiated and renegotiated, and the terms of those negotiations were set by people who already had power. Back in 1646, Virginia had passed a law punishing people for failing to vote, indicating not enough people were voting. But by 1655, the concern was that too many people were voting, and that feeling among the elite had only grown stronger by 1670.
That instability matters for understanding Massachusetts in 1692. The colony is operating under a new provincial charter that had only recently replaced the original Massachusetts Bay Charter. The legal ground is not settled. Courts are scrambling to establish their authority And into that uncertain environment come the witchcraft accusations of March 1692.
The people accused in those early weeks and the people who would be accused in the months to follow were moving through a legal system that was itself in flux. And that system had never, even in its most stable form, been designed with their protection as a central concern.
We'll be back tomorrow with what develops on March 11th. Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba remain in custody. The examinations of early March have produced a crisis that the community is still processing.